Hello, everyone. Welcome to IDGAF 1984. My name is Jeff Metric. For those of you who don't know me, we're currently at 94 subscribers. I'm trying to get to 100 by the end of the month. Let's see if we can get 6 more subscribers between today and tomorrow. And I'll do an AMA. I'll give you my email in the description when we reach 100, and then you can send me questions and I'll answer them. So, and please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Let's just help grow this channel and make this channel grow and explode and really understand what IDGAF is. Now, this video is not going to be an IDGAF video. This video is something that has been a large part of my life since I was a kid. And there's this trucking company called Yellow. It's called Yellow. Sorry, little country accent there. But my dad worked for that company. When I got out of the military, he got me a job working for them. They were a good company to work for. Their operating ratio, which is how much each dollar of freight costs to move, was always 92 cents. And it was a great job. My dad worked there for, I think, like almost 30 years, retired. He even worked there when he had cancer, which is really phenomenal. I worked for Yellow. Yellow was originally one of the big four union LTL carriers, which LTL, for those who don't know, stands for less than truckload. It's basically you can have like going to a trailer going to Chicago and it can have like 40, 50 different bills on it, going to different destinations in Chicago, and that's just how they do it. Now, those four trucking companies that started off as the big four of the union carriers, hold on one second, got to turn on a little air, were Yellow Freight, Roadway, CF, which I think is Consolidated Freight, and ABF. Those were the big four union LTL companies. Then you had around, I think it was like 2006, 2007, Yellow bought out Roadway. But before that, Roadway had bought out CF in, I think, like the very early 2000, like maybe 2000, 2001. So that was starting to be consolidation. Then it came down to the big three before Yellow bought out Roadway, and Yellow Freight became Yellow Roadway Corporation. Then it was at that point Yellow Freight, Roadway, ABF. Then once Yellow and Roadway merged, that lasted, and then come about 2009, Yellow Freight bought up a highly profitable regional carrier in USF Holland and brought them under the YRC umbrella. The only problem is Holland was a regional carrier running like the Midwest, East Coast with New Penn, Rendway, stuff like that, up in the Northeast and a little bit into the South. They were running highly profitable. Their operating ratio was in the mid 80s, mid to upper 80s, maybe even low 90s. And that's how it was 80 to 90 cents on the dollar for every dollar of freight they moved. So they're making 10 cents of profit on every dollar of freight they moved, which is phenomenal. But then they got bought up by YRC. That was a lot of debt saddled onto YRC. But then YRC's operating ratio started to go up. Holland's operating ratio started to go up. Is at one point when I was working for YRC in like 2015 or 2014, 2015, before I left for good, their operating ratio was like 101, 105 some years. So that means for every dollar of freight they were moving, it cost them $1.05 to move it. So they were actually losing money. But now I'm going to summarize this article from CNN, and I'm going to put a copy, I'm going to post a link in the description below so you can click on it and go check it out. But a 99-year-old trucking company, Yellow Corp, has ceased operation and plans to lay off all 30,000 of its workers. The company has been in a dispute with the Teamsters Union over pension and health insurance benefits. And although the union agreed not to strike, it could not reach a new contract agreement with Yellow. And here's a little backstory to that. Is the pension was funded, but they had an operating agreement in like 2011 that basically said, no, might have been 2010. Anyway, 2010, 2011, that Yellow would defer pension payments and the union would give up certain concessions, like a week vacation, something like that. It was very concession given. And that was when unions were not at their strongest. Now unions are at their strongest and they're not backing down. So they couldn't get a new agreement done, which is what it is. That's how companies work. So The company's closure is primarily attributed to a significant debt amounting to $1.5 billion. And see, this is a lesson for companies. If you watch this, any company, do not go out and buy highly profitable companies. Look at what they did with Holland. That was a huge debt they didn't need to put on because Holland had no debt when they got bought up. They had none. YRC was greedy because they thought the good times would keep on rolling. Yeah, no, that's not how it works. Roadway, if Roadway was going to go under, you don't buy up a company as it's going under. You let that motherfucker go out of business. Then you buy up the assets for pennies on the dollar, and you're not putting $1.5 billion, which was a lot more when I was there. And Yellow's competitors in the trucking market are ABF Freight, which is now ArcBest, and T-Force. And these companies have been profitable for years because they know how to run a lean operation and they don't overexpose themselves. They don't make acquisitions that ultimately are a detriment to them and not a help. The closure of Yellow is expected to result in higher rates for shippers who rely on less than truckload carriers. Those are the people who would be like me if I had a candle company and I wanted to ship 2 skids of candles. I'm not going to rent out a whole truck for it. I'm just going to send it to ABF, and they're going to load it on a trailer going to the destination it's supposed to go to. And here's the thing. The company had received $700 million loan from the federal government in 2020. And in exchange for the $700 million loan, the taxpayers hold 30% of its outstanding stocks. If it ceases operations, guess what its stocks go to? Zero, and zero. And here's the thing, the closure of Yellow represents the end of an era in the trucking industry. It was one of the remaining unionized carriers in the less than truckload segment. Now you're down to 2, T-Force and ABF. Now, here's the thing that if someone is really smart, like a Jeff Bezos, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, here's a shout out to you guys. Maybe look at buying Yellow. Look at buying them up, spin Roadway off, spin Holland off as separate companies, give them their own CEOs, but they're under the umbrella of Yellow Freight. And Yellow Freight have 3 quasi-independent companies that handle their own operations. That way you have Yellow and Roadway covering all across the country, and then you have regional in ABS or in Holland and their subsidiaries, and it worked out great. But see, this is the thing. I feel bad for the 30,000 brothers in the Teamsters that are losing their jobs. I feel bad for them. But now this is a chance to figure out how to make yourself into a more profitable person. As fucked up as it is this is disruptive, and there's going to be pain with it. But look at it from the point of view if there's a chance to make a lot of money for a lot of people if you know how to do it and you know how to move. So until tomorrow when I bring another video, because I was going to do a video about review of Thomas Sowell's book. That's coming tomorrow. So until then, just remember, IDGAF does not mean you don't care. It means you're not obligated to care. And that means I don't give a fuck. I'm not obligated to care. So let's get to 100 subscribers by tomorrow. I really am pushing for it. So until then, have a great day. And remember, IDGAF.